Thank you very much indeed, and here we have them, the best men, twice the trouble or twice the entertainment, who knows. First up we've got Ben, and then Jameson.
Hi, thanks for turning up. Hey. So, if I'm the best man, then why is she marrying him? Thank you, good morning. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it's an absolute honour to be best man for Stuart and Jackie today, and along with my good friend Jameson here. Now, we are English and we have brought some other English people along, but please don't hold it against us because Jameson is actually a really nice guy. Now, just before I begin to make Stuart feel absolutely wonderful, I heard a story that my wife told me. Now, Emily, who's hiding behind that pillar there, looking like works for BA, so she came across a few characters, and she met a man recently from Edinburgh who'd had a few drams throughout the day, a few hundred, by the sounds of it, and she said to the man, "I'm really sorry, sir, we're not going to be able to travel today because you are drunk and we don't allow drunk passengers on our flights." And the man said, quick as a flash, and most of you can try and use this excuse for yourself, he said, "I'm not drunk, I'm just Scottish." It didn't work for him, but you never know, try it out, it might work. Now, I had three options for my speech today. Option one was simply to take the speech that Stuart gave as best man at my wedding, and wherever it says the word Ben, just change the word Stuart. Option number two, use Hugh Grant's speech from Four Weddings and a Funeral, try and pass it off as my own, hope that nobody noticed. Or option number three, come up with something original, poignant and witty, something that you could take home with you and feel truly educated as well as entertained. Now, I decided to go for option number one. So, this was almost impossible to find because when Stuart wrote it, or the final draft, he wrote it on an iPod, which he had to hold with one hand, scroll with the other, which meant that I had to hold a microphone up in the air for 5 minutes, looking like a complete idiot. We should have a stand. Thank you. So please bear with me. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I remember the first time I met Ben. I remember the first time I met Stuart. I was set aback by his olive skin and rugged Mediterranean good looks. His big brown eyes were breathtaking. Just a bit awkward. I'll tell you one thing about Stuart, and if you know Stuart, you'll know this is true. He's never a drama queen, never overreacts to a situation. On a recent trip to Scotland, I remember Stuart had a terrible accident in the bathroom. Not that kind of accident. Screaming and swearing at Jackie and I, all manner of abuse. Honestly, you cannot imagine. Honestly worried about bleeding to death, he had to fashion his own bespoke bandages from kitchen equipment. A perfectly reasonable reaction if you split your lip on the sink and crack your head open on the floor. Not such a reasonable reaction, Stuart, when you cut yourself shaving. Calm down.
Really bad.
That's terrible. So I've known Stuart for 17 years, more than half my life. And we started boarding school on the same day, and he made a really difficult time for me a lot easier. Now, when I wrote that, I thought, that's really nice, I should put that in my speech. But actually, it's a massive lie. Me and Stuart didn't even really like each other for the first few years. It was only after a certain event when I was on my 16th birthday, actually, that really brought us together. Now, I can't go into too much detail, I don't want to offend anyone. If you just say that he started an enormous fire in an abandoned amusement park and we spent the night in the police cell, that's pretty much the whole story. But ever since those early days, I remember in the dormitory making Stuart somehow cry with laughter. And I hope that's not because of my terrible haircut that I had at the time. I'm sure it was fashionable then. And to repay me for my comedy, I remember one night, about 1 o'clock in the morning, I was fast asleep. Stuart climbed out onto the roof terrace outside our dormitory, crept up to my window and tapped on the glass, making a sound like a poltergeist or some sort of werewolf. Which may seem funny now, but when you're a homesick 13-year-old in a creepy old boarding house, that is no less than utterly terrifying. I think one of the bravest things I ever did was peel back the curtain to reveal my new friend, laughing to a ridiculous degree, with tears rolling down his face, while I'm about as close to cardiac arrest as I ever hope to get. But ever since then, not only Stuart, but also Michael and Pamela, Kirsty, Louise and Anthony, have treated me like family. I spent more time at their house than I did at mine in my teenage years. And that's not just because I lived in Slough. And even Isabel and Ian over the past few years, although I've not met them many times, have treated me like an old friend. A really old friend. Stuart's a very lucky man to be marrying Jackie today. The first time I met Jackie, she treated me like I'd known her for years. So kind, such an intelligent, successful woman whose parents must be unbelievably proud of. And I think she's done all right too. Stuart does have a disgraceful sense of humour, but he's a true gentleman, and you can't but admire him for his determination and drive. I'm really proud to be best man today, but I'm much more proud to be considered one of your best friends. But anyway, back to Stuart and those sheep. Thank you very much. I'll just pass you on to Jameson, who would also like to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Hello, good evening everybody. Didn't know I really sounded like that. That was a fantastic speech, but I'm not, you can understand why I'm not going to try and outdo him. That was like absolutely wonderful speech. I'm going to just offer my best wishes from absent friends and family who can be here today to our newlyweds here, especially those from Barbados who I'm sure would have loved to have been here. On more of a personal note, Stuart and I have been friends for a long time, and I consider Stuart to be more like a brother to me than a friend. And it's absolutely fantastic. And with somebody that you feel that close to, you hope that they find a great job, great group of friends. Been mentioned a lot. But most of all, you hope that they find that perfect person to share their lives with. And I know that Stuart's found that perfect person in Jackie. And I'm so pleased for you both. And if I can ask you all to, once again, charge your glasses, please, for Mr. and Mrs. Stuart Lynn.
Cheers.